Hi, I'm Dean Hewen, Chair of the Board of Edmonton Humane Society, and this is my Edmonton Humane Society Rescue Harley. We're here to present this year's annual report. It has been a phenomenal year here at EHS. We have rehomed over 7,500 animals. We have taken care of over 13,000 animals. We are on a very, very solid financial footing, all due to the generous donations, our sponsors, and our volunteers. We have taken part in phenomenal activities like the Slave Lake Animal Rescue. We look forward to many new programs and many new things to help the animal community in Edmonton. We thank you for your support.
Hi there, I'm Stephanie McDonald, the CEO of the Edmonton Humane Society, and this is little Archie Bug, whose life was saved thanks to our medical team. I am pleased to present to you our 2011 video annual report. Thanks to your support, we were able to expand our commitment to the community, help homeless and abused companion animals, enlighten people, and enrich lives. We were honored again by your amazing generosity. We received a staggering $2.8 million in gifts from donors like you, which helped us save thousands of lives. Thank you for believing in what we do. So sit back, relax, as we take you through the journey of the last year.
2011 was almost a mirror year to 2010 with our admission numbers and adoptions. We held steady at close to 13,000 admissions and found homes for almost 7,600 companion animals with our hard work and dedication. Just like in 2010, close to 2/3 of all animals in our care in 2011 were felines, and 90% of the cats who came to us were strays. In 2011, we continued to come up with innovative and successful adoption incentives to tackle serious situations involving homeless cats in the community. We held 8 adoption incentive events focusing on felines, either waiving the adoption fees altogether or reducing the fees by half. During all of our feline events alone, 760 cats or kittens were adopted who would have otherwise waited in our shelter for months longer before finding a home. In the past 2 years since launching these events, about 1,600 families have been completed with felines from our shelter.
As a city, we're blessed to have the Edmonton Humane Society because that is an exceptional place. Even the facility is amazing, and the animals have great places to live.
We continued to garner national attention in 2011 from counterpart organizations wanting to learn from our progressive operations like our cat events, and also looking for ideas to build a new shelter in another part of Canada. Our state-of-the-art facility continues to be a model for shelters all across North America. Our highly trained companion animal medical staff members continuously saved lives in 2011 by strategically and successfully managing the large number of animals admitted to our shelter. We were also able to do more of a variety of specialized surgeries in 2011 on homeless animals, with fractured limbs, ulcerated eyes, bullets stuck in their bodies, just to name a few. In doing these surgeries, we also passed along our expertise to visiting foreign veterinarians who joined us for training. Thanks to generous donations, we were able to purchase a dental X-ray unit to improve the ease and accuracy of dental diagnosis. Extractions and cleanings are performed much more efficiently with this new tool, allowing us to perform more dental procedures to ensure the optimal health of animals adopted from the Edmonton Humane Society. One of several success stories linked to our behavior team this year was in January, when about 20 dogs, mostly small breeds, were removed from a hoarding situation southwest of Edmonton. These dogs were fearful and under-socialized and did not even know how to walk on a leash. Our behavior specialists socialized these dogs quite extensively, and most were successfully rehomed. 2 new behavior modification and well-being therapy programs were introduced into the shelter in 2011. The first is Tellington Touch. This tool has been very beneficial in aiding with behavior modification and has been implemented throughout the shelter. T-Touch has proven to be a very successful tool in rehabilitating fearful and anxious animals. The second is called Early Neurological Stimulation, or ENS. This program uses specialized handling to stimulate neurological pathways in very young puppies and kittens. This technique basically helps the young handle stress better in their adult life by developing appropriate social behaviors, problem-solving skills, and by boosting the immune system. The EHS continues to have the most amazing volunteers around, with over 1,000 people contributing their time to our animals in our shelter. From dog walking to cat and critter cuddling to assisting with special events and administrative duties, our dedicated volunteers help our staff members make our shelter animals' temporary stay here as comfortable as possible. Our volunteer foster parents also made a huge difference, caring for almost 1,400 animals that required special need care before being placed up for adoption. Our volunteers played a huge role in May during the Slave Lake disaster relief work that you'll hear about in a couple of minutes. The volunteers made an incredible difference not just at the EHS, but also at our temporary shelter set up at Edmonton Northlands Expo Centre. They were responsible around the clock for feeding, cleaning, and caring for the animals that were displaced due to the fires. 2011 saw a large increase in the number of citizens calling our Animal Protection Department with concerns about companion animals. Just over 1,200 new files were created and investigated by our officers. As a result, 4 of our officers' cases ended with stiff fines and/or involved prohibition from owning animals. One of the most disturbing cases involved a home with more than 30 cats in horrible shape. Our officers were called by a concerned citizen worried about animals in a house in central Edmonton. During the investigation, the officers found bodies of kittens among the starving feral cats still alive in the home, some with severe cases of ear mites and serious urine burns on their paws from extremely dirty conditions. All of the cats were removed from the house. One died in the shelter overnight, and the rest were humanely euthanized because of extreme poor health and a lack of socialization. Margaret Marie Trenholm pleaded guilty to a charge under the Animal Protection Act of Alberta of causing distress to animals, was fined $2,000, and prohibited from owning any more animals in our province. A major accomplishment out of our communications department this year was our social media engagement on Facebook and Twitter. We saw massive growth in the number of people interacting with us. Hits on our YouTube videos also steadily increased. As we follow our strategic plan to be industry leaders, we were the first animal shelter in North America to begin producing week in review videos once a week to showcase a behind-the-scenes look at what happens in our shelter. Our monthly news magazine show, called the EHS Podcast, broadcast via the internet, continued and remained the only one of its kind as well. Elevating beliefs and attitudes is a key focus of our Humane Education Department, and it continued to reach more members of our community in 2011. We expanded our Camp Sit, Stay, Play Day Camp program to include the spring and winter breaks along with summer holidays because of the program's popularity. While we are dedicated to help people keep their pets in their homes, we added another layer this year by also becoming a career center for others who are striving for the same goal. Phase 2 of our Canine Enrichment Center's Training Academy launched, offering training for people who want to work with dogs. The Dog Behavior and Training Methodology Certificate course teaches people about dog behavior and working with dogs and puppies as a career. Our training academy also continued to offer both private and group training classes, including a new senior puppy training class and a disc training class. Canines and their owners could also challenge themselves by completing the new Canine Good Neighbor exam offered through the CEC Training Academy. The Katrina and Friends Dog Daycare continued to be popular, hosting over 120 dogs per month. There was even a waiting list because of its popularity. Pet owners were also provided with a new way to socialize their dogs through our dog playgroup therapy sessions. Hosted by our behavior department, they help to teach proper socialization and behavior to pet owners and also to our shelter dogs while they are in our care.
The community support for the EHS continues to leave us in awe. The generosity of individuals, families, small businesses, and corporations allows us to accomplish our life-saving work each year, and 2011 was no exception. Over $2.8 million came from our generous donors in 2011, contributing almost 45% to our annual operating revenue. About 10,000 people and their pets took in our signature event, Pets in the Park, Edmonton's official pet festival. We had so much fun and successfully raised over $138,000 for the care of our shelter animals. We are incredibly grateful to our hardworking participants as well as our supporters, sponsors, exhibitors, vendors, and demonstrators who also took part in the event. And speaking of fabulous events, the 4th annual Coventry Homes Paws and Claws Gala held in October was a massive success. It sold out quickly and raised well over $80,000. We are also thankful for our supporters who give in other ways, whether they donate an item from our wish list or make a bequest in their will. The EHS Fund Development Department continues to work with our donors to find meaningful ways for them to contribute. The EHS is also proud of those who take initiative to coordinate their own fundraisers, coming up with creative ways to generate funds for our shelter animals, from bake sales to a realtor donating a portion of their sales. To everyone that supports our shelter, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You help us to save lives. Here are just a few of the many success stories in 2011, thanks to you.
The story of our Modo gained a lot of attention in our community, and it's one with a happy ending we could never have imagined. 2-year-old Modo, the Basset Hound Beagle mix, was brought to us in October from the Humane Animal Rescue Team, or HART, with a severely fractured back leg. It's believed that the dog was beaten by someone with a pipe in rural Alberta before HART came to his rescue. The kind people with HART quickly brought Modo to us because that rescue group doesn't have a hospital for homeless animals like the one in our shelter. Our medical team members quickly rushed Modo for x-rays and stabilized his leg so the healing process could begin. Once the broken bones were healed, he went up for adoption, and a family claiming to have owned Modo when he was a puppy was right here when our doors opened. They had been searching for Modo for 2 years after a family member who was looking after the dog while they were out of the country gave him away to a stranger without them knowing. So now Modo is safely back with his original family.
I'd like to thank the Humane Society for taking such good care of him. He is that missing piece in our family, and now we're complete.
And then there's lovely Master Ninja the cat, who came to us in April with a fractured right back leg and a fractured pelvis. Thanks to our highly skilled shelter surgeons, a specialized orthopedic operation was done on him, saving the leg from amputation. The cost of the surgery was covered by generous donations to our Sick and Injured Animal Fund. After recovering in a loving foster home for several weeks, Master Ninja was healed and placed up for adoption in July, and that same day was adopted since his new owners just could not resist his affectionate personality. We are privileged that members of our community regularly adopt from us, and that support helps us to assist other similar organizations in need if they have too many dogs to care for. So, our animal transfer programs continued regularly in 2011, partnering with about 100 other organizations in Alberta, across the country, and sometimes south of the border, bringing in dogs and adopting them out as long as the transfers did not interfere with any dogs already in our care. One of the most memorable was the so-called Greyhound transfer from the Saskatoon SPCA. 17 Greyhound and Greyhound mixed dogs were involved in an animal seizure in Saskatchewan at the end of May. They were among many other dogs living in distress, individually chained up in a muddy yard without proper shelter and without access to water. Although timid, these dogs seemed to know that they were getting a loving second chance here in Alberta. The Edmonton Humane Society was vital to the Slave Lake animal rescue in May of 2011. The morning after, over 7,000 residents were forced to flee their homes due to a wildfire, we arrived on scene to aid the animal rescue efforts. Teaming up with the Animal Rescue Committee of Slave Lake, we helped rescue over 300 animals after setting up a temporary shelter in Slave Lake. Some Slave Lake residents were evacuated to the Expo Center in Edmonton, and our staff and volunteers were quick to set up another temporary shelter there to receive incoming animals. They were transferred in several trips from the Slave Lake shelter to Edmonton. Following that was emotional reunion after reunion, with many of them matched back with their owners. In total, 11 staff members put in over 930 hours over 5 days during the disaster recovery effort. Our volunteers helped at the shelter and the Expo Center, caring for between 200 and 300 animals at a time, 24 hours a day, for 7 days. This rescue effort was completely dependent on our disaster fund. We are truly grateful to generous supporters for providing the means for us to respond. Without them, it would not have been possible for us to do what we did or to respond in the future. Our disaster fund would have been completely depleted after the Slave Lake fire if not for the over $42,000 given to the fund by generous individuals, small businesses, and corporations. Hill's Pet Nutrition was one of our corporate contributors that gave an amazing $10,000. That purchased a trailer for our animal rescue and response vehicle. Along with financial donations, countless supplies like food, crates, toys, and more were brought to our shelter for the disaster response effort and for the human and animal victims of the fire. The EHS recognized the need for animal disaster response teams before, during, and after the rescue efforts. The teams are essential in situations like these. We were honored to be able to respond in this emergency and gained valuable experience for the future.
I just heard fantastic reports about how people were crying. They didn't have anything else, but they only had these precious little creatures as part of their family, and they have them back. And that was a gift that we were able to give back to the citizens.
We are extremely grateful to the thousands of individuals and companies that have contributed in 2011 in any way. Thank you so much. Every contribution makes an incredible difference to the lives of our shelter animals and to the community. Through partnership and innovation, the Edmonton Humane Society, a registered charity, is committed to helping homeless and abused companion animals, enlightening people, and enriching lives. The Edmonton Humane Society leads the community in elevating people's beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors to enhance the quality of life for companion animals.